Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about virtual reality and all the cool places and things you can do with it. And we're also going to talk about some like the limitations and guidelines I think should be used so students and teachers can have the most effective experience with it. So first I wanted to talk about how virtual reality is being introduced into the classrooms more and more. And whether this is an elementary school, a middle school, or even a college classroom when we got to experience it. It's a great resource. Kids can build their own programs, explore new places. You can go on guided tours by your teacher, which is really incredible. So, one of my kind of first guidelines with it is that in order for it to be a unique experience that isn't just using virtual reality to use it, I think teachers should seek out programs that they think would be helpful and then decide to use that and then build a lesson from that rather than just trying to insert virtual reality into every aspect of the classroom. So I know one time we kind of like practiced this activity in one of our classes where we found one and it was a tour in I think Norway, and we had to talk about how we would teach that to students in meeting one of the standards. And that was really cool, but I have to admit it was a little bit challenging to try to figure out how it really applied to the lesson plans. So I think thinking about that and putting a lot of time into it will definitely help teachers create the most effective lessons. The next thing I want to talk about is virtual reality is really cool, but I think it should be used in small doses infrequently because you want the kids to be excited about it. You want them to view it as like a field trip or a cool experience. And although it's important to incorporate technology into the classroom if kids be comfortable with it, I don't think I don't think it is imperative to incorporate technology in all aspects of the classroom. Um, because I just think that traditional classroom setting without a main focus of technology can still be helpful and effective. So I think using VR infrequently is great, and then also using the common sense guideline of only using it in small doses, about 20 minutes at a time for each student. I think that'll definitely help make it and give it that special effect of like going on the field trip or going down to the computer lab. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the pricing of it, because I know as a college student I had a great time working with virtual reality, but I know setting up the lab and having all the equipment and someone to go through it is really expensive. So I think it definitely should be used in classrooms, but I think if teachers can find it an affordable way to do it, I would encourage it even more. And companies like Google are helping with this with the Google Cardboard, which is seen in the pictures here. And you can buy this pretty inexpensive online. You can either put in like an old iPod or a phone or something, whether you have students bring them in or your school has them, and then you just insert them into the cardboard, and you can still use cool programs with guided tours. We did a great one when we like went through Hawaii in class, and my teacher would have arrows and we would look at certain things, and then she'd be able to kind of talk about it and give us a little history lesson, which was really, really cool to see. So, my kind of final condition of working with virtual reality is that students and teachers receive a proper orientation. I was looking at a study and it worked with college students who were pretty comfortable with technology, and a lot of them said that although they had a good experience with virtual reality, they really struggled with like the glitches in the technology either not working or them not knowing what to do. So I think students kind of getting like a free training day and not including that in the virtual reality lesson would be helpful, because you don't want to take away from their experience because maybe you or one of your students doesn't really understand the technology. And I also think it would be really great for teachers to maybe attend more than just like a quick orientation, like a whole introduction or some sort of like conference or something, and then they can work with the programs with other teachers, and they as a whole can practice running a big set of a lot of people doing virtual reality. So then now I wanted to talk about two things that when I was doing research, I was really excited to see that virtual reality was a resource for kids. So the first thing is that it is great for students because it gives them the opportunity to kind of travel and see new places and cultures and practices without actually going there, which definitely makes it more affordable. And I am also considering being licensed as a special education teacher. So I was really excited to learn about how virtual reality can help students who are physically disabled discover experiences in places they might not normally have the chance to go to. And I don't mean just traveling on a plane, but like being on the top of a mountain, like looking like underwater in the ocean and stuff. And I think that's really cool that virtual reality has found a way for not only kids in a normal classroom, but maybe disabled kids to get these experiences. And finally, virtual reality, even though it's their computer, it is a great way for kids to use their creativity while working with technology. And I love this big push for STEM that's happening in classrooms, but I think it's important that students still have to use their imagination. So within programs like Google Tilt Brush, which is absolutely incredible, I loved working with it in our class. Students can create their 3D worlds and then share them with other students, or just draw things, or practice maybe like labeling things that you guys learned about in class. And by doing this, kids are using their imagination, they're picking up technology skills, and if you have them discuss or work together, they're using cooperation, which I think by combining all of those things, kids are really gonna learn a lot and still have a really fun experience. So those are kind of like my guidelines for using virtual reality, and then some things to make it really great. And here are my citations.